Shop talk, we on the move. Shop talk, we on the move. Let's move. Shop talk, we on the move. About to pull up on you. Coming through like Shop talk, we on the move. Shop talk, we on the move. Let's move. Shop talk, we on the move. About to pull up on you. Coming through like Shop talk, we ready. Got them clippers with us, and I don't mean LA. Come and kick it with us, we riding on the freeway. Headed somewhere to cut hair from VA. Shop talk with Reg and the crew. And Tony Red in it too. Now move, come and get you a cut in the interview. But leave a tip in the cup when we finish too. Shop talk, we on the move. Shop talk, we on the move. Let's move. Shop talk, we on the move. About to pull up on you. Coming through like.
Hello, welcome to On The Move Shop Talk with Rex Prodigy. I'm your host, Marquise Davis. Now, on this episode, Rex Prodigy is literally on the move. Yeah, he travels down to Atlanta to interview the one and the only bosspreneur, Becky Davis. National spokesperson for the Coca-Cola's company 5x20 step training initiative for women entrepreneurs. She is the CEO and chief bosspreneur of MVP Works LLC and one of the nation's leading business experts as recognized by top media outlets. Now, not only does he gain a one-on-one interview with the bosspreneur, but he also gets access to the Bosspreneur Business Breakfast, where women entrepreneurs come to activate ideas, accelerate growth, collaborate together, and elevate knowledge. Sponsored by the Coca-Cola Company and the 5x20 Initiative. Now, this episode is full of knowledge, and I warn you, there's a lot of good stuff on this. Now, we salute Rex Prodigy for taking that trip, and we know that next time, it only gets better. Now, roll with us on this interview and enjoy the show.
Shop talk, we on the move. About to pull up on you. Coming through like.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Rex Prodigy with On The Move Shop Talk. We're here with Becky A. Davis, the Bosspreneur. Becky, how you doing today?
I'm good, and yourself?
I'm good, working hard.
Me too.
Trying to stay independent.
Me too.
First of all, Bosspreneur. How'd you come up with that name?
Actually, I would love to take the credit for coming up with it, but I actually hired a brand coach probably 3 years in the business. Yeah, about 3 years in business. And I was working with the brand coach on taking my brand to the next level, and during our session, you know, she was asking a lot of different questions to get to know who I was. I had to bring in all products and things that I did so she could get an idea of what I did. And I told her, I said the words, I said, well, I want to target women who were like me. They work in corporate America. They want to start their own company. I said in corporate America, I was a boss. Now I want to be able to teach people how to transition into entrepreneurship. And she had this look. She said, okay, wait a minute, say that again. And I said it again. She said, so you were a boss. Now you're the bosspreneur. I was like, oh, I like that. And we immediately Googled Bosspreneur, and no one had it. It wasn't taken. We looked at all social sites, purchased it that day, and then started the work on trademarking it. And I do have a trademark, so you can't be using my stuff. And I have had to send, see, this is my trademark for Bosspreneur. I own it. Right. So it's a registered trademark. Once it resonated, I was like, okay, that's it. And so branded myself as the chief Bosspreneur.
All right. So basically, how did you align yourself to be prepared to go out and be on your own in business, coming from corporate America?
So I knew I wanted to leave corporate America, and I started an exit strategy, and I said, you know, in a year I'm going to start my own business. So I hired a coach. My goal was to be a speaker, which is something I always wanted to do.
So, slay in your lane, run your race, nobody else's race. Because we can get caught up in following and looking at what other people are doing that we compare so much that we cripple ourselves. And if you are comparing and crippling, then stop looking. But if you are comparing and saying, okay, I still got work to do, man, she's killing the game right there. There's some other stuff, that's okay. But if you compare and say, oh, I wish, oh, I'm not, well, you are crippling your own power. So don't compare enough to where it cripples you. Just compare to say, what else do I need to be able to do and run your race, not anybody else's race.
So I was going to be a speaker, so I hired a speaker coach to help me understand the speaking business, the process of speaking, how to book speaking engagements, all of the above. And it was a 10-month training, and I was blown away with the stuff that I learned, and I realized, ooh, I'm not prepared for a lot of this stuff. So it was, now I need to prepare myself based on what I learned. So I started working on building a platform for my speaking business, and then the second year I hired another coach. 3 years later, I was still working with coaches and not leaving the business, but it was because I was scared to leave my paycheck. I liked the 1st and the 15th. Those were big days for me, so I was scared to leave my paycheck to start something when I didn't know when I was going to get paid. And so, and I was like, okay, I've done a lot to prepare, but yet still scared to take the leap and jump out, because I was making a good 6-figure salary, and to go from 6 figures to no figures, that was a little bit scary, but it took really a life-changing situation for me to really take the leap, because December 29, 2011, I had typical abdominal surgery, and 6 days later I was rushed back to the emergency room and couldn't figure out what was going on. My veins had collapsed. They couldn't put an IV because they couldn't find the veins. My color had totally lost, came away from my skin. My husband said, you started to turn white. And I come to find out the surgery that I had 6 days earlier, the doctor hadn't completely closed an organ, and I was hemorrhaging for 6 days. So by the time I was rushed back in, it was like, if we don't figure out where the leak is, she's gonna die. And so to make it through recovery, right, and say I'm still here, that was my wake up moment. And I was like, okay. I went back to work. 2 months later, I quit, and I took what I knew, and I was going to figure the rest out along the way. So that's really what I did. I just went, deep in, and I'm a researcher by nature. I like to understand how things fit together, so I jumped in head first and took the leap to launch and start my company, and best decision I ever made.
So it's really, really critical that we connect with people, because you have no idea what door they will open for you. That's what this is all about. Everyone that's a part of the team, I met at an event, and we connected and stayed connected. And when I launched this, I reached out to people who I was connected to and asked, would you help me take this to the next level? And they already said yes. That's through networking. That came through specifically through networking. And so our goal is to be, our WB to WB is our hashtag, women business to women business. We want to be the global leader in women business to women business partnerships and transactions. You do business with other women. And so we have a private website portal for our members to be able to log in and connect with other members. There's 4 different stages of business, period. I don't care what kind of business it is. There's 4 different stages of business. Startup stage, survival stage, success, and soaring. There's really one more when you're ready to sell it. You're already in a place where you can sell it. But our startup phase, we have 4 different levels of training that we provide to our members based on the stage that they are in. And this video kind of tells you what those are. Based on the 4 stages: startup, survival, success, our 4 membership levels: activate, accelerate, collaborate, and elevate. So we have training in those areas based on where you are, so you can get what you need to really elevate you to the next level.
So what would you give upcoming entrepreneurs that's scared to take the leap of faith from the 9 to 5? What kind of advice would you give them as far as going forward with their dreams?
I'll tell you what I tell people now: don't leave the 9 to 5 until you know what you're getting into. Because a lot of people will take the leap.
Right.
It is very difficult to be successful trying to figure everything out on the way. But don't take the leap until you know this is what I want to do, and you can name what it is, the people that you want to work with. You need to do some research, some homework first, and you don't need to know everything, and it doesn't need to be perfect, but you need to at least have. I knew I wanted to speak, I knew I wanted to train, and I knew I wanted it in the leadership area. I knew I wanted to work with small businesses and entrepreneurs to provide. I knew that part of it, so I could at least start. A lot of people's like, I want to start a business. What do you want to do? I'm not for sure. Stay on the job until you know.
Until you know for
Stay
sure.
Exactly. Let the job be your fund, your entrepreneur fund to build it up. Do not take the leap and you don't know what you're getting into.
Gotcha.
This ain't no joke.
What is the what would be the biggest struggle for women entrepreneurs?
Right now, research says the biggest struggle for African American women entrepreneurs, women of color, minority women, is funding. There's a huge gap between the 2018 State of Women-Owned Business that is published each year from American Express. Said the last one said that there's been growth. Women have opened business at 54% higher rate. So we're opening more business than men are opening. 164% are African American women opening business. So African American women are opening business 3 times the rate of women owned businesses. That's good, but here's the bad part of that. African American, the average annual salary for a business owned by a minority woman, a woman of color, is $66.4 thousand a year is the average revenue. But for a non-minority, it's $212,000. Big gap.
Big gap.
And so it's funding. Top 2 reasons: funding and resources. Lack of funding and lack of resources. That was a big part of why I started my Bosspreneur Business Circle membership for women of color, for minority women, to provide resources and to educate on funding. We partnered with Bank of America to come in and teach our community what specifically you need to sit at the table with to be able to get funding, because we don't know how to sit at the table and say, here's why I need the funding, here's what I have, and walk away with a deal. Whereas non-minorities know what to bring. So there's a gap. We're not getting that education. And so partnering with Bank of America to educate our women on that is going to help with the funding for that, for our community. But that's the 2 biggest things is funding and resources.
Let's see. Can you break down the benefit of being around people like-minded like yourself?
Yes. So one of the things that is important, I actually just, hold on, let me see if I got it in here. Yeah, I do. I actually just bought this book. I've been listening to this guy for a while, and he always talked about this, but he finally wrote a book about it. The book is called The Proximity Principle. Proximity Principle is specifically around where are the places you need to be and the people you need to be around to accelerate you faster to where you need to go. And it's not who you need to know, it's who knows you. So who knows me? If I want to speak on a stage with Steve Harvey, who knows me that can open that door for me? If I have to wait for Steve to know me, that might take a little longer. Yeah. But if I get in proximity with the people or in the places where those people meet, where they interact, where they network, then it puts me in proximity to open doors. So being around people is critical. When I'm working with clients, the women that are part of our membership platform, that's the question all the time. Where are the places you need to go that's going to accelerate your business faster? And guess what? Wherever those places are, it's going to make you uncomfortable because it's a place you've never been. It's going to be at a higher level. There are going to be people in the room smarter than you. That's the best place to be, is the dumbest person in the room. Because if you think you're halfway smart and you're the dumbest in the room, how much more can you learn? So
Sponge.
Exactly. That's all you're going to do. You're going to close your mouth because you're like, I don't want to say nothing stupid. So I'm going to close my mouth and I am just going to ask questions and listen and learn. So it is critical. My team, and I have pockets of teams. So my core team that works is my lean on. I have another group of ladies. It's 6 of us. We do a podcast. I lean on them for specific things that I need to. And then I have a group of mastermind sisters where I can say, hey, I got an idea. Here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I want to do. What do you think? And Ellie's like, Becky, that don't make sense. Or, so what are you trying to do? So they can challenge my thinking and my thought process to be able to help me to say, I never even thought about it that way. And you cannot do it by yourself. There's no way you can do it by yourself. You have to have 3 brains are always better than 1. It has more power. So imagine if you got 10 brains. If you got 20 brains. So you create a circle. You create your, I call it, because I'm the bosspreneur, my boss board, my boss squad. Who's on my board? What bosses do I have on here? And based on those bosses, what's the influence of those bosses outside of my current circle? What is their influence even further? Because they're the ones who say, Becky, there's an opportunity I think you should be a part of. When I did Disney's Dreamers Academy with Steve Harvey and Essence Magazine, it was someone in my community that said, I'm going to recommend you for this. You know how long it would taken me to just build my way there? When you get in proximity with people that are influential and they can open doors for you, that's critical to be. You have to be able to do that. If you don't do that, again, you're going to get to a ceiling and you might make some money, but you'll never get over that hump.
So stay in your lane, run your race, nobody else's race. Because we can get caught up in following and looking at what other people are doing that we compare so much that we cripple ourselves. And if you are comparing and crippling, then stop looking. But if you are comparing and saying, okay, I still got work to do, man, she's killing the game right there. There's some other stuff that's okay. But if you compare and say, oh, I wish, oh, I'm not, or she did, you are crippling your own power. So don't compare enough to where it cripples you. Just compare and say, what else do I need to be able to do and run your race, not anybody else's race. Y'all all right? Yeah. So what is it time to do? That was me. I heard you back there. Thank you. Talking to the people. It's time to boss up. What is it time to do? Boss up. First you gotta run and what? Run and reach, and then you gotta secure what? And then what do you need to do? I think y'all got it. All right,
So, next question I got for you. Was it more difficult for you in finding your passion or putting a price on your service?
That's a good question. That's a really good question. Putting a price on my services. I already knew what I was passionate about. I've known that for years. I knew what I was passionate about, and I knew what I was pretty good at. I wouldn't say great. Others might say great, but I would say pretty good because I'm always thinking it could be better. It could be better. But I knew what I was passionate about. That was teaching and helping people. I knew that as the passion. It was putting a dollar amount on it. And what I learned from that experience, I worked in retail for 20 years. I could sell you, if you wanted to, I could tell you how this could change your life. I could sell this to you and help you see the benefit of you purchasing this mouse. And that was easy for me because it was a tangible product that I could speak to, go through my sales. But when it came to my business, what I realized is I was selling me. That was harder. We struggle with, what I've learned is we struggle with our greatness and seeing our greatness the way other people see our greatness. Other people see what we're able to provide and help with before we do, because we're always saying, I mean, that was okay, it was all right, and other people are like, what do you? So I had to stop doing that and just say, I know what I have to offer is going to change your business. Now here's what we could do. If you don't want to, I'm okay with that. You don't have to, but I know I can help you change your whole business. That without a doubt. But it took me a minute to get that confident in what I was able to do.
All right, now I have a couple questions I gotta ask you.
Okay.
And it doesn't have to pertain to your business at all. Just off the rip. First question: name something you regret that you've done in your life.
Something that I regret. Bring something to my mind, because it's a lot of regrets. Let's bring one that I could talk about. I know a regret. Okay, I need to reframe the terminology, because I teach this stuff too, so I need to reframe the terminology. It's a regret because I didn't graduate college. And I got married the semester of graduation. And I left college with the thoughts that, I got married, moved to where my husband was, said, okay, I'll graduate, when I get up there. And that never happened. And I regretted not getting my my degree. And the reason why I say I need to reframe it, because that regret, I held that regret for some years, that it bothered me that I didn't graduate. But reframing it doesn't bother me today, because you see all these books? I pretty much opened and probably read every last one of them. So
still did the work.
Right, still did the work. So, and it took Les Brown actually saying the same thing, is that, I don't have a college degree, but I could sit at the table with anyone and have a conversation because of the depth of knowledge from as much as he's read, as much as he's trained and learned and developed himself. So I don't feel the same regret today, but for at least 20 years I carried the regret that I didn't graduate the semester before graduating. Yeah, my mom, I don't know if she ever got over that.
All right, next question. Tell me something that you want to do in life that you wanted to do in life that you don't think you'll ever get to do.
I can't say what I won't ever get to do, because I believe everything is possible for me to be able to do. Only way I won't get to do it is if I take my last breath before it's done. Okay. But I mean, like, I dream in color, and it could be outrageous. So being on having my own television show, and not just the internet show, one that's on television, is something that's in my vision, that's a part of my view too.
Well, the thing is, because you're getting into the next question.
Okay.
But really just want to know, like, let's say for instance you wanted to be a singer all your life. and you don't think you're ever at this point in time going to do it. So something that you had a dream to do that you don't think you'll ever get to do. That's not even in your path right now. Something you didn't. It could have been something when you was a little girl. You might want to be Wonder Woman, which you Wonder Woman now, in my opinion. Okay. But you know, just that one dream that you had that you don't think you'll ever get accomplished.
Well, it goes back to the regret. I'm not gonna go back to school and get a degree.
Gotcha. There you go.
It's like, no, I'm not going to do that. At 50 something, I see you, but no, nope.
Okay, so my next question is, tell me the one thing that you have planned for your life that you plan to do that you're going to accomplish.
A television show.
Right. So you answered that earlier.
Yeah, I'm going to have a television show. It'll be international too. Because that's a part of it. We covered up some of my plans, which I have all over my wall. But yeah, I want a television show, and I want it internationally. I don't want it just in the U.S. I want people all over to be able to see it, know about it as well. So international television show. I don't even know what it's going to be about, but I don't have to know. It'll reveal itself in time. But yeah, that's what I want to do. They're going to be like, oh my God, we got to have her. Yeah, that's going to happen.
Now, just to let everybody know, Ann's a great cook.
Yeah, I throw down now.
She throw down. I'm a result of some of it. We've been friends for many years. But great mother, homemaker, great interior decorator. So she's just not the coach in the business. She's the mom, the wife, the mother. You know, so she come home after all that stuff she done told you need to go do. She still gotta go home cook. You know,
deal with kids, grown or not, still gotta deal with.
Throw the pajamas on, sweatpants, walk around the house, hit the gym, walk, you know, do the same thing everybody else do. Yeah. You know, so I just want to bring that to light. And it's one thing you did for me that I want to bring to people's attention. You asked me one day, you said, are you a business owner? And I said, yeah, I own a couple businesses. And you asked me if I get up and go to work. I said, yeah, I go work every day. And you told me I wasn't a business owner. You told me I was self-employed. And from that perspective, that changed my life of thinking of who I was. So I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing that with me.
Yeah.
Cause see, that kind of stuff that you never know. That I would have never known that.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I asked a lot of questions.
So, one last question for you, and then we can get out of here. How many books have you written?
Let's see, including workbooks. I've written 5 books and 3 workbooks. And I'm in the process of a book now. I'm doing a book collaboration. I brought in 15 other women to write chapters in a book that I'm doing called The Resistance, How to Fight the Enemy Within and Win. And so I'm launching that book at the end of this year with 15 other authors that I brought on to do a book collaboration with me. You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, well, I'm just letting y'all know I'm going to be the first male to go under Bosspreneur, and then I'm going to turn around and do the male version of Bosspreneur because these women got a treasure to help them out. Us guys kind of like sitting out there. So it's like we could learn a few things from some of these women if we take the initiative. So I'm going to be Mr. Bosspreneur after I go and transform and learn this stuff from these women. So y'all have a good one. This Reg Prodigy, Becky A and Davis, Shop Talk. We on the move.
We on the move. Shop talk, we on the move. Let's move. Shop talk, we on the move. About to pull up on you. Coming through like. Shop talk, we on the move. Shop talk, we on the move. Let's move. Shop talk, we on the move. About to pull up on you. Coming through like. Shop talk, we on the move. Let's move. Shop talk, we on the move. About to pull up on you. Coming through like.